जैसे कि हम लोग शूटिंग कर रहे थे तो मैंने इसके बाल वाल देखे, मैंने यार मैंने उदयन को बोला, उदयन इज आवर CEO ऑफ द कंपनी, मैंने यार कोई कोई हेयर ड्रेसर या कोई मेकअप क्या कैसा लग रहा है यार, मैं बाल वाल ऐसे हैं और ये वो ऐसा वैसा, तो बोला यार बजट नहीं था। मेरा बजट नहीं था यार, मेरे से ले लेते पैसे। बोला नहीं नहीं यार, बोला नहीं वो बजट नहीं था, तो हमने सजेस्ट किया कि इसको कर ले। तो फर्स्ट डे जब वो हुआ तो अपना बाल और हेयर, तो फिर हर्ष ने बोला यार हटाओ यार, ना मेरे को हेयर ड्रेसर चाहिए ना मुझे मेकअप चाहिए। सो दिस होल फिल्म इज डन विदाउट अ हेयर ड्रेसर एंड देयर इज नो मेकअप मैन।
वाओ।
ना कोई हेयर ड्रेसर है ना कोई मेकअप है। So that's the way today's generation is. They don't need this paraphernalia and entourage and all. तो उसने किया है। तो what you see on screen, there is no hairdresser, there is no makeup. हम लोग सब बाल जरा बाल ठीक करना यार, कैसा लग रहा हूँ मैं, that kind of stuff. But that's what it is. Yeah.
Nice.
अनिल साहब, आजकल ये साउथ की फिल्में काफ़ी अपना सिक्का मना रही हैं, उनकी मेकिंग भी कुछ डिफरेंट लग रही है बॉलीवुड से। आपको क्या लगता है कुछ कंपटीशन होने वाला है आगे चल के?
तो ये गलत आदमी से सवाल पूछ रहे हैं आप। क्योंकि साउथ ने हमेशा अच्छी फिल्में बनाई हैं, हमेशा।
करेक्ट।
मैं तो जब से मैंने होश संभाला है, हमेशा साउथ की फिल्में ने लोगों ने पसंद किया, चाहे वो राम और श्याम हो, चाहे वो एक दूजे के लिए हो। पता नहीं आप लोगों को ये फिल्में पता है ना? तो बहुत बेहतरीन फिल्में बनाई हैं और वो बनाते रहेंगे। और दे हैव ऑलवेज बीन अ काइंड ऑफ एन इंस्पिरेशन। मैंने अपना करियर साउथ से शुरू किया। मेरी पहली फिल्म जो थी वो एज अ लीडिंग मैन तेलुगु फिल्म थी, जहाँ से मुझे प्रोफेशनलिज्म, डेडिकेशन, डिसिप्लिन मुझे सीखने को मिला, मुझे बापू साहब के साथ काम करने को मिला। उसके बाद मैंने फिर एक कन्नड़ा फिल्म की, वो भी साउथ की थी, मणिरत्नम की पहली फिल्म थी। एंड उसके बाद मैंने बहुत सारी फिल्में की, एक्शन फिल्में की, रखवाला, इंसाफ की आवाज़, सतीश जी के साथ मैंने 2 फिल्में की, वो भी साउथ की एडेप्टेशन थी। हम आपके दिल में रहते हैं, हमारा दिल आपके पास है, दोनों सुपर हिट थी। तो साउथ ने हमेशा अच्छी कहानियाँ, अच्छी फिल्म, टेक्निकली हमेशा ये दौर था, है और चलता रहेगा। फिल्में अच्छी आएंगी और वो अच्छा काम करते हैं। एंड आई ऑलवेज लुक फॉरवर्ड टू ग्रेट डायरेक्टर्स with a great vision, and I've always admired them, and I think मुझे I don't get surprised. ये तो होना ही है और होता रहेगा जिंदगी भर।
Right. We have someone right here who's been waiting for a question.
Fatima, question for you. While sharing screen with Harsh, how was your experience and chemistry with him and Anil Kapoor sir?
बहुत ही बढ़िया, मतलब अमेजिंग था, बिकॉज आई लाइक आई सेड दैट ही इज़ वेरी कोऑपरेटिव, वेरी सपोर्टिंग। हज की बात कर रही हूँ पहले। हाँ मतलब
Just to be clear.
नहीं, पहले उनके बारे में। तो ही इज़ बीन वेरी सपोर्टिंग, एंड फॉर हिम टू बी एबल टू ब्रिंग दिस प्रोजेक्ट टुगेदर इज़ क्वाइट इनक्रेडिबल एट दिस यंग एज। सो with him I've had a great time, and with AK sir तो क्या बोलूँ मैं क्या बोलूँ। What an aura and magical aura this man has. He is incredible. Every time he would come on set, no, ऐसे there was this electrical bolt, मतलब volt, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, बोल्ट ही बोलते हैं, हाँ वो। And it's so infectious because the moment he would come in, you would all feel एकदम as if बहुत energy आ गई. Even like when I was low, I would just speak to him and instantly I would feel good. So he has this incredible magical aura, and I'm so glad that I got to share the screen space with him. So I'm very happy. And Satish ji and Jeetu ji and Raj, you also, I love you too.
Raj, I wanted to ask you, Indian cinema has always had a curious relationship with the Western, and we've had our own tradition of Daku films. Recently, we've seen a resurge of the genre. I'm talking about films like Son Chiriya, films like Lal Kaptan, which what you call revisionist westerns, which put in a lot of social issues into the movies as well. Is this a similar exercise, to explore characters, how local politics, things like that, or is it more stylistic?
No, it's more stylish because the films that you mentioned, they have a sort of a Western sort of a vibe to it, but they haven't gone very deep into that genre. only, in my opinion, there's been 2 films that have dived deeply into it. One was Joshile. Incidentally, sir was a part of that. Mr. Shekhar Kapoor was directing it earlier, and I think Sholay. But my inspiration comes from what I saw as a child after watching Clint Eastwood and all those films, and when I used to go to Rajasthan. So I belong to a part of Rajasthan that you see in the film. And it was born out of that.
Hello everyone, I'm Akshay from INS. Raj, my question is for you that in terms of music, apart from the Western spaghetti, there are also strong influences of the Rajasthani folk. So what was the idea behind the music designing of the film?
So when we decided, Ajay Jayanti composed the music. When we decided on the music, it was that we will have a smattering of Rajasthani folk, but a larger picture would be that we would have music that is a little more in tune with the tone of the film. And we've seen a lot of Rajasthani music coming into films, Gujarati, Punjabi. So we wanted to move away a little and be a little true to the genre, but with a smattering of Rajasthani folk in it. We've used instruments that are generally not used. So,
with this Netflix project, Thar, you're going to be debuting as a producer. How do you feel about this new role, and how has your experience been so far?
It kind of just happened by accident in a way where this film was supposed to be produced by Vikram Motwani. He called me about it in March 2018 when he was editing Bhavesh Joshi, and it was supposed to be a phantom film. That's when I met Raj for the first time. After that, the company dissolved. They all went their separate ways, and there was no phantom anymore. So I found myself in a situation where I was very new. I was only 2 films old. This was before Ray and AK versus AK. Raj was new as a director, although he had acted a lot before. And we had a really interesting script, which was very different from what was being made even now. But imagine that like 4 years ago, there was the streaming thing hadn't really kicked off the way that it is now. So we went around for a year to several producers, and at that time it was supposed to be a theatrical film, and it was, it's quite, I don't want to say too much about the film, but it's not your traditional stereotypical Hindi film format film. So that was a difficult process, so we persevered for about a year. In that year, we ended up spending a lot of time together. We used to meet at my house every couple of weeks. We used to work on the script, and he knew that I was the protagonist now, so obviously he started kind of interpreting the character in a slightly more unique, different way. It was unique to me in a way. And so through that journey, the process kind of started, and then I think it was 2019, and a producer came to offer me a love story, and I said, I'm not too interested in this type of thing, but I have a really good script, why don't you read it? And he read it and he liked it, and he came on board at the time to do this film in a much smaller way than what you're seeing now, but we were quite excited, and at that time then we started kind of casting and trying to put it together, and then we spoke to Dad, after which we did a test shoot, what Satish ji talked about briefly. We shot 3 scenes from the film. I'll tell you what the scenes are after you see the film. But we shot it for very nominal, almost no money. We shot it in Andheri, somewhere in a rented space. And 1 scene out of those 3 turned out quite well. So we started shopping that scene around, saying that, this is the script, this is the test shoot, I'm going to act in it, Raj is going to direct it, Anurag has helped write it. And that's when Netflix came on board. So by the time we had a funder, had already been, Raj and I had been trying to do it for almost 18 months. Then we were supposed to shoot in 2020 March, because you can't shoot in Rajasthan in the summers, and then post the monsoons it's too green, and we wanted more of a barren kind of landscape. So it was very seasonal in terms of when we could go, and then COVID happened. So this was right after the AK versus AK shoot. So he was busy every day, obviously, on set. I had a small role. I finished it, got into prep. That's when we signed Shreya to shoot the film, and Vasik came and all of that. And then we were all ready to go, and then we had to wait at home for another 10 months. So in those 10 months, then he got free. We both sat on the script a lot more. It, developed it a lot more. Then Netflix were very kind to us because they gave us more of a leeway with the money that we could spend and how large really we could kind of make the film. And so for me, it's been 4 years. For him, it's been 8, a little more, 4+ years, and it didn't. Then obviously Netflix kind of had their own great ideas about the script, and so we collaborated with them. Then we went to shoot. Then there were challenges on set. We came back. We watched edits. We bettered things. So it's been incredibly educational. Stressful, but in a very healthy way. And I don't only, I think acting is something I'm doing right now and I'm really enjoying it. But for me, I don't think any of us should limit ourselves to saying, I'm only an actor and I'm going to be an actor for the rest of my life. I'm somebody that just loves films. So I want to do it all. And there's no better way to learn than working with Vikramaditya Motwani, Vasan Bala, Rakesh, Om Prakash Mehra, Raj, Anurag Kashyap. These are the best minds in the business. So you have intimate experience with them as a leading actor and a producer. It's definitely going to enrich you in ways. And when I came on stage, many asked me, about the producer thing. And it was honestly just to make sure that no external forces could kind of water down his vision, so yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's deep insight.
Yeah.
Was truly amazing, guys. And my favorite line is, ये picture शायद गब्बर के बारे में नहीं है. So I'm waiting to find out कि गब्बर के बारे में नहीं है, तो jailer के बारे में, heroine के बारे में. It really looks fantastic. Raj, in this, the way you've shot it, the desert itself is a character in your film. It's doing amazing things to your story. So how did you build, the desert up as a character in the film?
So you're absolutely right. The desert is actually a character, the desert. So because the tonality of the film is such, you've seen in the trailer. Yeah. And a lot of credit has to be given to the cinematographer and also to our production designer. Shreya Devdubey is the cinematographer and Wasik Khan is the production. And we got together and we built this world slowly by slowly. And we went to and we hunted locations where nobody has been there before. And I know Rajasthan like the back of my hand.
And I know Rajasthan like the back of my hand in films, because you've seen all those locations, you can almost identify them.
Yes, we've seen
but
palaces.
This looks amazing.
We've seen sand dunes, we've seen, but this is nothing of that sort. This was Rajasthan that nobody has seen. And if you see westerns, you see that they have a certain tonality and a certain vibe to it. And we tried to organically fit this story into that world.
Yeah, you can almost feel the dry air and the chapped lips and the cracked, it looks beautiful. Apparently, so Anurag Kashyap has co-written the dialogues with you?
Yes, this line is his, the whole Sholay lines. He's written the dialogues, yes.
Acha, lovely. Fatima, इसमें आप एक राजस्थानी bride play कर रही हैं, a demure character?
हाँ, आदत नहीं है.
आदत नहीं है ना? Tell me there is a twist.
उसके लिए आपको फिल्म देखनी पड़ेगी. मैं सब कुछ बता दूंगी तो फिर राज मेरा खून कर देगा.
No.
अंत में मेरी बॉडी दिखेगी.
To be very honest, what I'm trying to say is कि आपने अभी तक जो भी character किए हैं, चाहे वो दंगल हो या फिर Thugs में आई, where you played a warrior or you played a wrestler. How did you get the nuances of this demure Rajasthani bride right?
Honestly, मैं इतना सोचती नहीं हूँ. I'm very instinctive, and Raj knew what he wanted. So जुगलबंदी होती है, उनको पता है कि क्या चाहिए, क्योंकि he's very clear. He's lived with the script since God knows how long.
But you're playing the bride, so.
हाँ, but when the scene is written well, then आपका एक instinct होता है, and कोई process नहीं है मेरा. I'm also learning,
And what's Harsh like as a co-star?
He's very good. He's very calm, as you can see that he's very shant also, but extremely dedicated, very hard-working. He knows what he's doing, and that's a great thing, and a lovely co-actor. आपको क्या चाहिए सेट पे कि कोई आसानी के साथ जिसके साथ आप एक्ट कर सको, जो आपको परेशान ना करे,
और जिनकी विजन सबकी विजन सिंक में हो,
सबकी विजन सिंक में हो, सब पैशनेट हो, about the film that you're doing. तो बस.
Amazing. This is really whetting my appetite.
दीपक भाई, अरे इधर छोड़ो दीपक भाई को। Done. Thank you.